The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Friday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com. Brought to you, as always, by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. I am Anthony Hartwig, your faithful host, always here for you. And Greenwood Chevrolet, they go the extra mile for you, and we try to do the same here on this show every single day. We got a great day for you planned on this last Friday of February, as we are going to talk about the district championships for the girls basketball scene tomorrow. We're going to talk about the sectional finals on the boys basketball scene tonight. And we also have two girls coaches that you're going to hear from today in this district championship preview coaches corners. We got Aaron Blatt for you from Crestview as they get ready to set off against Laurel on Saturday. And then we have Matt Reel from Canfield for you as well, as him and his Cardinals get ready for a matchup with Salem on Saturday. Both those games will be on YSN. But we're looking forward to both those matchups. We have both those coaches that gave us their time last night, so we're going to play those interviews for you today as well. We got one score that came in last night. It was a boys basketball tournament game from Perry High School, and it was the Pirates that beat East Palestine 50-10. But this went way beyond basketball last night. I want to give a special shout out from not just me, but everyone at YSN, I think, stands by me when I say this. A shout out to Perry's community and the Perry Pirates for doing what they did last night. In last night's game, Perry's community came together. They understood what was going on in East Palestine. And during this tournament game, they were able to raise $2,020, all of which was donated to the East Palestine Athletic Department. The official statement from Perry and their Twitter was, "Our hearts are with East Palestine as they deal with a difficult situation, one that could have happened anywhere. We are proud to say that we raised $2,020 tonight to help East Palestine Athletic Department as they face many challenges ahead." And then they are so proud to call Perry home. And our community stepped up in a big way. They absolutely did. Pirates, Perry community, we thank you so much for your generosity and proving to everybody that it goes way beyond the score of a basketball game. And it's a family. Basketball is family. Sports are family. And the way the Perry community stepped up, I mean, Perry is not local, right? They're local in the sense they're Northeast Ohio, but not hyper local. But they still stepped up for a community that they know, and they stepped up big time. And that's just something that they didn't have to do. And that's one of the things that I think comes out of situations like this. You see so many stories of things that people don't have to do. There's nothing was holding Perry to do this, and they probably wouldn't have been judged if they didn't. I mean, you look at some of the neighboring schools, they probably would have had some side eyes from people if they didn't, step up and make those the moves they did, which I don't think diminishes it in any way. I'm not trying to say like, the things that were done by the neighboring communities has any less impact by saying that. But what I'm saying is that Perry wasn't in that situation where they would have been looked at differently, or maybe had some people in their community or right next to their community kind of side eye them if they weren't, if they didn't really take it upon themselves to step up the way they did. So there wasn't as much pressure on Perry, but they did it anyway because they knew it was the right thing to do. They knew that they had a community that was coming to their gym that was hurting, that was in a spot where they needed help. And DJ has said it multiple times, whether it be on his show, The Power Hour, or on the multiple outlets that he's been on over the last week and a half. And one of his main statements is this: we need help. If you want to help us, then help us. Don't just say you're going to help us and then refuse to come down here. Just step up and make the impact that you can make. And obviously, Perry saw that opportunity to make that impact, and they were able to do so in a big, big way. And we tip the hat to Perry, and we congratulate them on the win. Obviously, we were rooting for East Palestine to come away with that win. It wasn't to be. The Pirates win 50-10, but now that that final score is in, I think I can stand with everyone when saying, hey, if they're not up against another YSN school, then go Pirates. Great job by the community. And I just want to give them a tip of the hat before we move on today's show. I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I'm going to preview these boys games that are coming up on tonight's slate of tournament games first. Then we will go into our interviews, and then we'll come back and I'll talk about a little bit of the district championships, just so I can leave that last 10 minutes of the show to talk about those district championship games on Saturday. They carry enough weight to just have a little bit more than just glancing down the schedule. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about the sectional finals that are happening in boys basketball tonight. And we have 14 boys basketball games on the network tonight and a girls basketball game. I don't want to leave Hoban out, who is fighting for a district championship tonight as well. We'll talk about them again at the end of the show when we do our district championship preview. But first, let's go over the boys basketball games that are happening tonight. We have a sectional final in Brookfield. The Southeast comes to town. Noah Doty's going to make the trip to Brookfield for that call. Brookfield's offense this year has been so good. They have 2,000-point scorers on the team with Donovan Pawlowski and Isaiah Jones. They're really hard to stop. I'm impressed with Brookfield. They're in this Division III bracket. When you look at it, obviously South Range and United are on the other end of it. So Brookfield, if they're able to win tonight against Southeast, will play the winner of United versus South Range. But I look at Brookfield and I think they can make a run. I really do. That matchup between them and whoever comes out of South Range versus United would be a good one, and that would be on Tuesday against Warren Harding. But I look at their offense, and they have consistently scored, at least 50 points in every game, and most of the time, a lot of times they're in the 70s. They've had a couple of 80-point games as well. They have a very potent offense that's really, really tough to stop. I can only think of, and I can't even think of what team they played. One game maybe where they were under 40 points. But you look at Brookfield, really, really hard to stop. Southeast is in for a very tough game. But Southeast program and another Matese coach, by the way, Mike Matese, heading up the Southeast boys. They're well coached. Anytime you see Matese on the coaching staff, they're going to be well coached. They're disciplined. They're going to come in with all they have. But I think Brookfield is gearing up for a run. And obviously, if they win, we'll have an all YSN district semifinal in Warren Harding on Tuesday, which is always fun when we can guarantee a YSN team making it to the district championship. The top half of that bracket, though, by the way, does feature Lutheran East, which is a very good basketball team in their own right. So it's going to be fun to watch that Warren Harding district as we go on and we see who advances into the sectional finals after tonight. Edgewood, after their big win over West Branch, they're going to host West Geauga tonight. That's a cross CVC matchup, by the way. West Geauga on the other side of that CVC division, where it used to be cross division matches worked in your favor. This is the first year where those CVC cross tier games did not count towards league standings. But Edgewood is very familiar with West Geauga, and they're going to welcome them into Edgewood Ashtabula tonight at 7 o'clock. Sam Torres will be on the call. Obviously, the Warriors offense runs through Zach Vinsel. It's going to be all about how much he's able to impact this game as far as can Edgewood succeed. It's going to be all about can Zach Vinsel make a big impact. We go into the next one, Hawken against Girard. This one's in Girard, 7 o'clock. Matt Marr will be on the call. I said it before, I'm high on Girard. I know they stumbled a little bit as they exited the regular season. Those last couple weeks probably really didn't go the way that Girard wanted them to, per se. But I believe in Girard. I think they're extremely well coached. Coach Hannon does a great job with the Indians, and I believe in their leaders. I believe in Thomas Cordero, Gus Johnson, Michael Palmer, etc., etc. They're going to pick this team up, and they were an early exit last year, and I really, really don't think that they're going to let the stumbling continue into the postseason. I think they're going to refocus. They've had plenty of time off to kind of hit the reset button in their mind, and I think Girard is one of those teams that a lot of people have forgotten about heading into this tournament because of the struggles they had towards the end of the regular season. I think Girard is an absolute contender. I would not be surprised if they come away with a district championship or play in the district championship with a chance to cut down nets. They are so talented. And the first half of the season, especially, they looked unstoppable. If they could tap in to that Girard team again, then good luck. Good luck stopping the Indians. We go to the next game, 7 o'clock. Lake Center Christian at Lowville. What can you say about Lowville that we haven't already said? I mean, they have so many players that can hurt you. Obviously, Vinny Balone and Anthony Lucente get a lot of the talk. But then, you have Moldelsky in there as well that really does a great job getting points for them. You have younger Balone. You have a lot of other players in that mix that do a really good job supplementing. If you have only two players that score, you're not going to win tournament games, right? So Lowville basketball has a very balanced attack. They're really good defense. I don't think enough people talk about Lowville's defense, to be honest with you, because obviously their offense can score 80 points any given night. But you look at their defensive numbers this year, they're holding teams below 45 points consistently. And in boys basketball, especially, 45 is a really good benchmark of a really good defense. I mean, if you're holding a lot of these boys teams under 45 points, you're doing something right. Now you could say, you could sit there and say, well, Louisville doesn't play a lot of great offenses in their conference. I would say I don't know about that. I know a lot of people have said it and I've heard it, but even the teams that have struggled this year record-wise, they have players that can score. I mean, you look at Mineral Ridge. Obviously, they had a struggling boys season, but their offense was not usually not the problem. I mean, they have John Rossi there that can score really well. They have Tristan Valley, who's a good scorer. They have players that can score on the ball, and Mineral Ridge had a lot of games that just were close, didn't go their way. So there's a lot of good offenses in that MVAC Scarlet tier, and Lowville's defense done a really good job. I want to give them a shout out because obviously their offense gets all the hype, and they should. Their offense can score at a big pace. We all know that, but their defense has been overlooked this year, and if you're going to win in the tournament, you're going to need your defense. I think that's going to be the difference for Lowville if they make a run. Marlington goes to Canfield tonight. This should be a really good one. Noah Rick's going to be on the call. 7 o'clock is your tip-off from Canfield. McDonald will go to Warren JFK. Is Warren JFK real coach? Coach Comlink does a really good job, and they're gearing up for another tournament run. It seems like every time we're talking about Warren JFK, we're talking about them going deep in a tournament at whatever sport they're playing. So no one is surprised if Warren JFK wins a couple games in tournament time. Orange will go to Cheney after they got their win over Poland. If they have a performance, especially on the defensive side, like they did against Poland, they will give Cheney some fits. I'm telling you that. Their defense did a really good job, especially on Poland's leading scorer, JP Genova. Orange held him down for most of the game and then hit free throws down the stretch. If this game is close and it comes down to the free throw line, Orange is a sneaky, really good free throw shooting team. You look at that game, and Poland kept putting the pressure on Orange every time they would get the ball down the stretch. Orange had to hit free throws to win it, and they absolutely did. So if it gets close and Orange has to hit some free throws down the stretch of the game, I'd be pretty comfortable if I was a Lions fan. Obviously, everyone knows about Cheney. Cheney's going to bring the athleticism, the run and gun offense, the transition, the scoring ability, the one-on-one kind of ball handles that I can isolate a guard any way I want to, and they can probably win those one-on-one matchups. It'll be fun to watch. We go into Cardinal Mooney as they welcome in Rootstown. Alec Myrna will be on the call there in Youngstown. I'm telling you, Coach Palermo and Mooney get into a different animal when they get in tournament time. Last year, they did not have the best regular season. They had a stretch of games where they felt like they probably did not play well, and it cost them some perception. A lot of people thought down on Cardinal Mooney last year heading into the tournament, and you look what they did. They ran all the way to regionals. They are still a team that knows how to win in tournament time. That always makes them dangerous. They'll try to do that again at home tonight at 7 o'clock against Rootstown. This is going to be a really good one, I think. Springfield goes to Badger. Springfield is used to high-level competition. They've played a good non-conference schedule to go along with that MVAC Scarlet tier that I talked about earlier. They will go to Badger. I don't know if they're going to match up with the height as well. You look at Springfield's team, they don't have a lot of size necessarily, but Shondell Gardner, when he's on, he can really be a game wrecker. And then I think Brandon Price is a guy that's not talked about a lot for that Springfield team. I think a lot of people look at Shondell Gardner and the skill and talent he has, and he overshadows a lot of really good players on that Springfield team. Sheely can get into the scoring column really well as well. Dylan Sheely and Brandon Price. You don't look over those players. They're new faces. You look at who Springfield graduated last year. Obviously, a lot of special players have left that program the last 2 seasons, but there are a couple of names like Price and Sheely that have really made their name known this year. So I think Springfield is a candidate for the upset, but I think Badger's obviously proven time and time again that they are a force to be reckoned with. What worries me about Badger in this tournament run, and this is something that Coach Upshire has talked about at length on our shows, especially with Matt Morrison, they're going to get into a close game eventually. And so far this year, close games have not really gone well for Badger, so I'm wondering how they can handle close games in this atmosphere. They might have one tonight. Who knows? Springfield goes to Badger at 7. Matt Morrison will be on the call from Kinsman. Wyndham goes to Wellsville tonight. Coy's going to be on the call at 7 o'clock. A lot of people not talking about Wellsville enough. Isaiah Greathouse and company have put together a fantastic season. They are EOAC champs, and Bug Thompson is a legend. So Wellsville, they're in the midst of a really good season, looking to make it last. United goes to South Range, and the winner will play the winner of Brookfield and Southeast that we talked about first to top off this boys basketball kind of discussion. United has a really good 3-point shooting team, and South Range has a really good defense. It's going to be who's going to bend. Obviously, both these teams South Range hasn't played in a bit, and United hasn't played in a bit. They both had a bye into this game. So who can shake off the rust? I'm interested to see the first quarter of this game, right? Because this district is a little funky. There are 2 teams that went right to the sectional final, and neither team got a sectional semifinal game in there. So they've both been off for a while. So the first quarter is going to be really important to see what team shakes off the rust quicker. If both teams have rust. Sometimes you talk about the rust debate and both teams come out, they look like they just played last night. So I could look foolish, but it's going to be fun in the Thriller Dome either way. I will be there for that one, 7 o'clock start time there. Valley Christian goes to Columbiana, and Hop is all over that one. Some other ones, Jackson Milton will host Maplewood tonight. Ian O'Brien will be on the call, and then Ursuline will host Streetsboro. It'll be CJ Shrouds and Michael on the call there. The other games that are going on tonight in girls basketball, Champion goes to Minter Lake Catholic. Garrettsville Garfield goes to Beechwood. Kidron Central Christian will be at Southern. Pie Valley will host LeBray. Liberty goes to Lutheran East. Struthers will be at Gilmore Academy, and then Waterloo will play Newton Falls and Lordstown. So some good matchups there as well. If you're inclined to go to those communities and support them, we absolutely encourage that. While you're there, pop up YSN. You can watch a game while you're watching a game live. All those games tip off at 7, by the way. And a quick reminder that our tournament games are pay-per-view, $9.99, one payment of $9.99 gets you access to all the games on the network tonight. If it's anything other than $9.99, it is not us. Please do not fall for the scammers out there that are trying to get you to subscribe to stuff. It is not us if it's not one payment of $9.99. We are going to take a quick break, and on the other end, we're going to get to our coaches' corners from teams that are in the district championship game on Saturday. Crestview and Canfield, Matt Reel and Aaron Blatch. On the other side of this timeout, we'll be right back on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
Hi, I want to tell you about my Trish Yearwood home collection available at Sheely's Furniture. With 2 locations serving Ohio and Pennsylvania, Sheely's is one of the country's top sellers of my home collection. And the best part? At Sheely's, you never have to wait for a sale. They offer everyday low pricing as well as a price match guarantee, so you can shop the Trish Yearwood home collection with confidence. Come see my collection with something to offer for every room in your home and get it all with free local delivery, only at Sheely's Furniture.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig with you. And we are going to get to some coaches' corners, talk to some coaches that are gearing up for a district championship on Saturday. We're going to start in Crestview, as Aaron Blatch took the time to talk with me last night about their win in the district semifinals and the challenge they have ahead of them against Laurel on Saturday in Lakeview. Should be a good one. Here's what Coach Blatch had to say. Anthony Hartwig here with a Crestview Girls Basketball Coaches Corner with head coach Aaron Blatch. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Hey, thank you for having me, Anthony. I appreciate it.
Man, you got it. Congratulations, first of all, on the district win last night to punch your ticket to the district championship. Let's go over it. This Middle Lake Catholic team gave you a big battle. What were some of the keys to your victory in the game last night?
Well, Lake Catholic did a really nice job. We knew it was going to be a battle coming in, and we didn't get off to a very good start. We were down by 10 at the end of the first quarter. We definitely didn't finish that quarter very well within the last 2 minutes. So I give our kids a lot of credit. We kept our composure, in between quarters. We came out, got off to a little bit better start. And, that second quarter, we ended with a little bit of a flurry there. Ava Busey got going, knocked down a few shots for us. We got out in transition a little bit. And, we found ourselves down 1 at halftime. I thought, kind of given where that started and where we could have been, that was a little bit of and I think we were tied after 3. And we said going into the fourth quarter, if you'd asked us at the beginning of the year, hey, could you win 1 quarter to have a chance to go to the district final, I think we all would have taken that. So we kind of put things in perspective, and our girls came out and played a really strong fourth quarter and were able to kind of seize control of the game.
A lot of teams, if they're, down like that in the first quarter, they have a slow start, they're in a tight spot, they would rely on their veteran leadership to get them through. But this roster that you have is pretty dang young. No seniors on the team. So who were some of the players that were kind of the vocal leaders and some of the ones that kind of got you guys mentally out of that tight spot?
I thought it was a combination of people. First of all, I want to give a lot of credit to our point guard, Reagan Edwards. She does it vocally, but man, by example, she, we didn't even know the other day if she'd be able to play. She's been playing through a hand injury. She's probably going to need surgery after the season. She then injured her other hand at practice the other day. Um, sat out a day. We kind of went light with her the day before the game. Um, I think seeing her out there fighting like crazy defensively, handling the ball, I thought that set a great example. Likewise, I mentioned Ava Busey. She's been out, missed our last 2 games with a knee injury. Those 2 guys I thought showed a ton of toughness, and leadership by kind of fighting through that. In addition, Addison Rhodes is always vocal. Even as a freshman, I think she's kind of taken on that role. Lavraine Gaskins, Emily Downey, 2 of our other captains, maybe a little bit more quiet by personality. But they're leaders in their own right as well. Both on the court and in huddles during timeouts. So, it's been a little bit by committee. Young players step up and lead with their words and actions. So that I think that's been great for us.
Addison and Lavraine are the 2 players that get talked about the most on the outside from your program, and obviously they've been the statistical leaders so far this year. How have you seen them handle this stage of the districts as young players on the varsity level?
Well, they've done a great job, and they both generate a lot of attention. Uh, I thought that really tried to swarm Lavraine anytime she got caught it down there. There were a lot of bodies around. I thought she did a better and better job as the game went on of, going up strong, getting herself to the foul line a little bit, finishing through contact a little bit. And, Addison, same thing. Honestly, that was probably the best job that Addison's done, or one of the best jobs that she's done all season, of playing through contact at the rim. Something that we've talked about that we haven't really experienced yet is in the tournament, the games are physical. A lot of times officials are going to let a little bit more go, or going to let the girls play through some contact. And sometimes that can be detrimental to a team as young as we are. We're maybe not as physically strong as what we're going to be in a year or 2. I thought those 2 both did a great job, playing through that, not complaining when, we didn't get a call or whatever may have happened, continuing to play hard. And, they both made some huge plays late. Addison did what she does all the time. We're down 3 with about 3 minutes left. She knocks down a 3. She knocks down some free throws late to kind of ice it. Lavraine, I thought, had a great play where she got a steal around the half court line, led the break herself down the stretch, had a nice finish. That's something that a year ago I don't think she'd have been capable of doing. So it's really kind of showing her growth. So, they're both great players, and they're both continuing to get better. And I thought we're both huge in that game last night.
So here you are now in the district championship, and before we preview, the matchup that you're going to have with Laurel and what some of the game plan is against them, the first question I have when you get ready for a district championship, obviously, like we said before, you're going to have everyone back next year, so obviously you want to win. But how much does knowing that this experience is going to pay dividends down the line, whether the result is positive or negative on Saturday, how much does that make you excited for a coach knowing that this young roster is in a district championship and they're going to be able to carry this experience with them into next season and developing into next year?
Well, that's definitely exciting, but we're very much just kind of focused on the opportunity in front of us. I don't think we ever want to just assume that, we hope this is a yearly thing, but I'm definitely not making that assumption. Things happen, teams get upset, there's injuries, there's other factors. We've got a really good that's going to continue. So, we definitely don't want to concede any opportunity that we're going to get. We're here right now. And, we've got a tremendous opponent in front of us that is going to be the best test that we've faced so far. I think we're going to be up for that challenge. And, we just said today, that regardless of outcome, we're going to do everything possible we can do to try to win the game. But regardless of outcome, we're going to leave here proud of the effort that we put forth. So, we're going to have a plan. We're going to fight like crazy. Whatever happens, happens. But we definitely, we're not looking ahead to next year yet or down the road. We're going to put everything we can into Saturday.
Let's talk about this opponent that you're going to have in front of you. It's Laurel. They've been the talk of the Division III. Obviously, they have a couple of freshmen that have come into that program and kind of lit the world on fire. Very talented, very hard schedule. But now that you've gotten the chance to see them on film and prepare for them a little bit, what are some specific things that you see that make them such a difficult team to deal with and are going to make them a big obstacle for you guys?
Yeah, they're very good. They're very talented. They're long. They're very physically strong, and that was we've been watching them on tape. Yesterday was the first time that I got to see them actually in person. And the one thing that jumped out to me is how physical they are, how strong they are. We're definitely going to need to match that physicality and their toughness level. Um, that they've got exceptional players. They're a good team top to bottom, but the senior girl Bixley and the freshman Hall are as good as anybody you're going to see around here. Very talented. So we know we need to do a good job on those two. We know that they have plenty of other capable people as well, but with their length and athleticism, they can get out and run and really hurt you in transition and really hurt you on the boards. We really need to try to take away that easy stuff. I mean, they're capable of doing difficult things too, but if we're giving them putbacks, if we're giving them 1-on-0 layups, then that's where things are going to get out of hand. If we can limit those things and make them play in the half court and make them score over our size and our length, which we have too, then then I think good things will happen for us.
If you happened to be, this is if you were on the other side of the bracket and you had to play Laurel in the regionals, you would have been without tape, right? So you would have been matched up with them. It would just been all I can see is the film. You wouldn't have been able to see them live. How much did seeing them live on Wednesday give you guys a little bit of an advantage to see them live and be able to see in person what they do?
Yeah, I mean, as a coach, I think it's always helpful if you get to see a team in person. In a weird way, we might have benefited a little bit even in the last round. We had kind of a strange circumstance where Beechwood, decided for safety reasons not to play our sectional final game. We would have loved to have played that game. We were disappointed that we couldn't. But then, our coaches and some of our players got to go and watch Lake Catholic in person. I thought that was kind of beneficial for us to, just get a little bit better feel than you get on film of, how quick someone is, what someone's size is like, seeing them up close. So we were glad that last night that, a couple, we didn't send the team early. I just wanted our team focused on nothing but last night's game. But from a coaching perspective, if you get to see someone in person, I think you need to take advantage of that. So I think that was helpful to kind of see some things that they do and learn a little bit more about their personnel.
We talk about this conference and we've been gassing it up all year, and this is kind of proof. It's you guys. Garfield's in a district championship. Liberty's in a district championship. On the other side, Western Reserve's in the district championship, and you have Springfield in the district championship. This MVAC has really showed up in this tournament. What does that say about this conference and who you have to go up against every night?
Yeah, it's since we've been in the league, this is year, I think 5 in this conference. It's a really good league. I think our tier in particular has always been very strong. That's definitely the case this year. I think the other tier as well, like we got to play Springfield, we played Lowellville. Lowellville's they had a nice little tournament run here as well. Springfield's still playing. We didn't play Western Reserve this year, but I know they do a great job as well. It does speak to the depth and the strength of this league. And come tournament time, I think the one nice thing is I think the coaches and the teams in our conference are all kind of pulling for one another. In the other bracket, the Struthers bracket, we're going to end up with one team or the other, whether that's Garfield or Liberty. One's going to be a a district champion. So, we're rooting for those teams, and we're going to do our best to take care of business in our bracket as well. So, a lot of good teams in this area, and we're excited about those other teams' success as well.
I'm sure you realize that if you win on Saturday, it will be an all MVAC regional semifinal as well, no matter who wins in Struthers. So that would be a big boost for the conference too, to have a guaranteed player inside the regional final.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely. That would be a lot of fun. If we could make that happen, and with Garfield, we split it this year. First time we played, probably the most well played fun game we've been a part of this year, and we beat them in overtime at their place a couple weeks ago. With Liberty, we've had two absolute battles. 2 weeks ago, we were down 8 with 2 minutes left and came back against them at our place to force overtime. Ended up winning there. We played a good close game, beat them at their place as well. So if either one of those matchups happens, I'm sure it's going to be a great game.
I'm going to ask you to put your analyst hat on real quick, if you wouldn't mind, and just give us what your take is against those two teams against each other in Struthers, and what your kind of feel for it is. Obviously, you played them both twice. How do you think that game's going to go? Not predictions or anything like that, but how do you think that game is going to look?
Well, I think it's going to be a battle for sure, and kind of so focused on our own stuff in the tournament, I haven't really watched any tape from the other bracket, but I know Liberty's kind of got a different dimension now with Sienna Smith being back. I haven't seen her. I heard she sounded like against Poland played very well. She's when healthy is one of the absolute best players in the area, and they already have a few other studs with Watson and Foster. Garfield likewise, I feel like they have 3 outstanding players, and some really nice role players to go along with them. Both teams are going to be familiar. Both coaches. There's not going to be a lot of surprises. I think that's going to be a really competitive, fun game. If we weren't playing, I'm glad that we are, but I would definitely like to attend that one too. So I'm curious how that one's going to go.
Before we let you go, Coach, you have the opportunity to cut the nets down on Saturday. What would that mean for this program, for your coaching staff, and these players?
Oh, it would mean a lot. We said today we're coming with scissors. We're not here to be a spectator. We're not here to get Laurel autographs. They've got a great team, and they've got our complete respect. We're coming in with every intention of winning the game. It's been since 2007, I think, since Crestview has won a district. It had been since 2008 since we won a league title. That was one thing on our list that we were able to accomplish. I think that this is the next logical step, and it's going to be tough. We're going to have to be very good. We're going to have to play our best game of the year. We're going to have to trust one another, and really be connected on both sides of the ball. But I've got a lot of faith in our kids. I've got a lot of faith in the preparation that we've done throughout the year, and our assistant coaches. We've just got so many great people, I think, involved in our program, and we're going there with the intention of winning, and it's going to be a battle.
Coach, we have all the faith in you in the world as well. We can't wait to watch you do your work on Saturday. Our very own Larry Scragg will be on the call. He's been with you all season. He'll be there in Lakeview for that showdown for YSN's coverage. We can't wait to see it, Coach. Congratulations on all the success so far. We hope it keeps going. Good luck the rest of the way. And, hey, hopefully we can talk to you again next week about a regional semifinal matchup.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Thank you guys for all your support throughout the year, and I appreciate you having me on.
You got it, Coach. That was head coach of the Crestview Girls, Aaron Blatch. I almost said Aaron Gilbert. Too many Aarons. What are we doing here? Red and black and yellow. Aarons. What are we doing? Aaron Blatch joining us to talk about his district championship game in Lakeview on Saturday. We go right into another one. Canfield getting set to take on Salem on Saturday, and I had a chance to catch up with Matt Reel last night. So here's what Matt Reel had to say from Canfield. Anthony Hartwig here with the Canfield Girls Basketball Coaches Corner with Matt Reel. Coach, one, congratulations on getting to the district championship. Two, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Hey, thanks for having us. We're excited for Saturday.
All right, so let's break down this district semifinal first. Obviously, a very familiar opponent in West Branch, a very familiar coach that you've gone up against time and time again every year. You knew it was going to be a challenge. What were some of the things that you did so well to get past West Branch on Wednesday night?
I thought we really played really good defense in the second half. We did a much better job limiting Sophie Gregory, keying on her a little bit more. We were fortunate that they missed some threes that they normally make. And Carly Harmon and Cami Dill really made some huge baskets when they were making runs to kind of stem the tide and kind of thwart any chance of them coming back.
Like you said, it was slowing down Sophia Gregory, but you guys played them earlier in the season when Sophie was still healthy before she got hurt. Obviously, a lot of those girls though have grown since that time. What kind of differences did you see out of West Branch on film that made you know that this matchup was going to be a little bit different than the first time you saw them back in Canfield near the beginning of the season?
At this point of the year, both teams have grown a lot, and each team improves, and they were really feeling, I think, really good about themselves, and they should have, because they're a good team, and we kind of knew that even though their record was deceiving throughout the year, they'd won 10 out of 11, and were playing really good basketball. And I think when Sophie was out hurt, I think that forced some other players to step into roles that maybe they were looking for her a little bit more in the season. I think they became more well-rounded and a lot more confident team.
I think we ask you this after every win, it feels like, but you have such a balanced team. You never know what player is going to be your leading scorer. No one really has the huge edge in your statistics as far as the season averages go. What's that mean to this team, knowing that, last night it was Cami Dill, it could be Muckleroy on Saturday, it could be Sully, it could be anybody, and that's got to be really hard to defend for other teams.
I would think so. We have this year, I think we've had 5 different leading scorers, and we've almost had a 6th lead us. I think they're 1 point behind. Sometimes as a coach, you kind of like to know that you have somebody that's always going to get you 15. But the thing I'm pretty confident is somebody's going to step up and have a good game. And for us, I think that makes us well-rounded. And I think it's just tough to defend and tough to scout, because our girls are really unselfish, and they always find the person who has the hot hand that game.
Yeah, and you can also talk about this. It also, it doesn't let you guys fall into the trap of that one girl being off and it derailing your offense. And what
Sure.
kind of benefit is that?
It's nice because, throughout the 22 and, we're like 24, 25 games in season, it's tough for the same person to be leading scorer every time. It's tough to be up for every game and play your best every game. And, if someone has an off game, it's nice knowing that we have not just 4 players, but people off the bench that step in and give us quality minutes and quality time. And they have a lot of confidence in themselves and each other. So I think that's what's made this team very, very special, is just the balance we have and the unselfishness.
We all know the best teams take even what are good performances and find things to get better at. So before we preview this matchup with Salem on Saturday, first want to preview this next couple of days of practice. What did you see from last night's game that made you want to improve on and made you want to get better at, and made you know that if we're going to beat Salem, we have to do XX and X better?
At times we didn't do a great job on the rebounding battle, especially in the first half. We gave them a lot of second shots. We got our hands on a lot of 50-50 balls that we didn't come up with. Offensively, we were rushed a little bit. We tried to score too quickly without making a defense move. And we know against a really great defensive team like Salem, and even one against West Branch, where they played really, really well in the first half, we just felt we needed to move the ball more and just kind of fine-tune some things, execute our baseline out of bounds plays better. Just little things and little details we had to clean up.
All right, you already had practice today, so you have one more practice. What do you think is going to be some of the things that you handle on a Friday? Are you a coach that likes to do the hard practice the day before the game, or do you like to maybe make today's practice a little bit more of the hard one? Which one is? How do you handle the 2 days between the semifinals and the finals?
I think it really depends on the team and the type of game you played before. It was a very physical game, very emotional game, and our girls were still a little bit tired today, legs a little sore, not bad, but just a little normal after-day soreness. So, we kind of make sure that we kind of just get their lactic acid going. We did a lot of shooting today. Tomorrow will be a little bit more intense practice, but the biggest thing we want to do is we want to make sure we have our legs back for Saturday, and we will. Tomorrow's just going to be a quick practice and a lot more intense and a little bit more up and down, but it really depends on just the game you had before and the type of minutes your girls played. And we had some girls log some big minutes, so we want to make sure that they're healthy going into Saturday.
With that being said, that like you said, it depends on the game you played and how tired they are. How much do you rely on your girls to kind of be upfront with you and totally honest, like, hey, coach, like maybe today we don't need the hard practice because of the game that we played last night? Is that something that they're upfront about, or is that something that you just noticed as the coach?
A little bit of both. We do some things before practice where they got to do some hand grip strength, and we kind of keep track of that. And when their hand grip strength goes down, usually their legs are pretty close behind. So, we try to do a little bit more scientific way. I'll ask them, and a lot of times you can kind of tell just by the way they're moving if they're tired or not. And our girls are pretty honest. And at this point in the year, it's really not about going hard all the time. It's just doing enough to stay sharp and just recovery, because pretty much the hay's in the barn at this point. You're not going to change who you are. It's just making sure you're fine tuning. You're 100% going into Saturday.
Now we get to talk about Saturday. This is a matchup that I think as soon as the brackets came out, everyone on the outside was looking forward to. They were starting to pencil in Canfield versus Salem. Obviously, you guys as a coaching staff couldn't do that, but the outside, the fans were doing it for sure. Here we are, Canfield versus Salem. You played them already this year. It was a tough game for you guys. What kind of things do you see on film about Salem that make them so hard to kind of figure out and so hard for you guys to master?
Their team starts with Abby Davidson. She controls the game from the point guard spot. Very confident player. I think she instills a lot of confidence in their team. I'm very impressed with Riley Hutton. I'm amazed that she can play 32 minutes, guards the other team's best player, and is a big part of their offense, handles the ball, and never looks like she gets tired. And obviously, Cami Roan is a real good player. She's very long and probably more defensive oriented than the offensive end. But what really impresses me is that they have some players that know their role and they fill it really well. Obviously, they're very good defensively, but I don't think they get enough credit for what they are offensively. So, they're a well-rounded team. They played together for a long time, and they have experience in big situations. So it's definitely going to be a challenge.
I feel like you already answered this question when you were talking about the West Branch game in the regular season, but how much do you kind of learn from the first game, considering that it was so early in the season and both these teams have changed a little bit? Do you still watch that film and see kind of the things they did against you instead of the things that you did against them, or do you kind of leave that film aside because it was so long ago?
I think you can gain certain things. I'm a bit of a film freak. I like to watch 5, 6, 7 games for each opponent, especially when you start getting in a tournament. And I think you can glean a few things from it. But both teams have changed there, and it was kind of a crazy, 5 days for us in Salem, because we went and watched Marlington beat them at Salem, and then we went to Marlington and beat them, and then Salem beat us that Wednesday. So we kind of traded off playing, I think 3 of the better teams in the area. And, I think everybody, those 3 teams are all pretty similar, and I think they're all pretty talented. So, we'll take some things from it, but, both teams have changed so much since December 21st that, I think recency is what you're really looking for.
When you watch and you start to think about the matchup and you're watching the film, what is one thing like that's, I don't want to say scares you the most, but what is one thing that concerns you the most about Salem? Is it their defense? Is it their offensive capability that's a little bit more this year than last year? What is the one thing that you think like is the biggest concern when you're looking at the matchup between you and them?
There's so many things with them, but I think the biggest thing is I'm really impressed with how well they rebound. That's something that, in my career, I've always put a huge emphasis on, and I know Coach Hamilton Phillips does the same thing, and I'm really impressed with how well they rebound, and that's a huge key for us, is to make sure, even though we're not the biggest team, to make sure we compete on the boards with them, and I'd probably put that as number 1.
I'm going to flip it around too, because talking about this matchup on your end, what is one thing that you see from your girls and your team and the way it's made up that you think you can excel at, or you can, kind of poke through the holes of the Quakers on film?
I think it starts with what we talked about earlier. I think, we're putting out usually 5 players who can all pass, shoot, and dribble. And, not every team has that, and we don't have that every year. And I think we do that at a pretty high level. And I think, that puts a strain on your defense when you have players that can do that. And I think there's some things that we have trouble covering with certain teams. And I think a little bit of our diversity and our skill level is a tough cover for them.
You were Division One up until this season, and it was really hard to get to this point into a district championship in Division One. How are the girls handling kind of the stage and kind of the setting up the stage of a district championship?
First of all, I think, everybody thinks when you drop a division, it's going to be easier. It wasn't for us. We knew West Branch was going to pose a huge challenge with their history and how good their program is and what a great job Coach Cecile does. I think we were a little nervous last night. We had been in a district semifinal 2 years ago, but that was in the pandemic, and really no one was allowed to come. So really none of our girls have been in that kind of intense environment. And early on, I think that affected us. But I think once we made a few shots, I thought they relaxed, and I was really proud of their resilience.
This Streetsboro gym is compact. It's small. It means the crowds are right on you. How much did that impact the atmosphere on Wednesday, and how much do you think it's going to impact the atmosphere on Saturday?
I don't think there's going to be any seats left Saturday. You have 2 fan bases and 2 of the historically more successful programs in the area. I can't wait for the atmosphere. It's intense. They're right on you. Kind of reminds me of the old South Range gym. I always thought it was a huge home court advantage. Obviously, we're not going to have that, but, Wednesday was a great environment. And competitors, our girls are competitors. I know Salem's are, West Branches are, and you want to play in front of people that are passionate and love the game. And I thought the crowds really showed that last night, and I expect nothing different on Saturday.
It's always a great interview when we can shout out your old days at South Range, for sure. When we first met back in the day, but you're right. There are some similarities between the home court advantage you had back there at South Range, especially the baseline. That's one of the things that I'm sure your girls had to get used to as well. Not a lot of room between the baseline and the wall. What was that kind of like, trying to get them to adjust to that?
I think once the game starts, they're used to it. Our middle school gym at Canfield that they all played in, has a restraining line. There's not much room. It's tight, and most middle school gyms are like that. So, you don't see it too much in the high school level, but I don't think that was a huge adjustment. I think just the intensity and the environment, and getting to that level where both teams are just competing to their max. The fans are into it. I think that's a bit of an adjustment because you don't see that all the time during the regular season.
You guys have a chance on Saturday to cut the nets down and claim a district championship. What would that mean to this program, to your players, to your coaching staff?
It's something that you always dream about at the beginning of the year. It's not something that we have as a goal. Everybody wants to do that. What would it mean? I think it would just mean that you continue what's been a really great season. And the biggest thing for us is just understanding that, we're trying to enjoy the journey getting there and the intensity of the game. You can't really worry about cutting down the nets. What we're trying to worry about is just getting there and just trying to get them to understand that once the tip-off goes, with all the hoopla and the intensity, it's just a basketball game. And the reason you play it is because it's fun and you love competing. And, when our focus is on that instead of winning or losing, I think we're going to have a much better chance.
How do you get that message across, especially for the seniors? I mean, they have to have a lot going on in their head because the further you go in the tournament, the better the teams are, and the greater the odds that it might be their last game. But like you said, you can't have that in the back of your head. How do you think, as a coach, you've been there, you've done that, how do you try to navigate getting that out of a senior's head to just make them go out and play their best?
I don't think you do that 2 days before. I don't think you do it the day of or anything like that. I think that's something that you have to really focus on in the season. And, I'm not a great one to talk to because the district finals that I've been a head coach for, we've lost every single one. And so, what you're trying to do is just get them to understand and make it as routine as possible. And, we were fortunate to have Coach Yeagley come and talk to the team last week, and then our coach, Coach Mike Papp, came and talked to him, and it was amazing how many similarities there are in the game of football versus basketball, where they both talked about preparation and focus, and loving the person next to you, and how that's the most important thing. And if you focus on those things, it gives you a much better chance. And our girls really embraced both of their messages, and I know there's something you learn from those two when they walk in the gym every time.
I mean, you look at you bring up a good point. You look at the athletics right now and where Canfield is. You got the football team, baseball, and Coach Niddle, always successful. They're making runs like it's their job. And then you have, Coach Collin, who won his 600th career win earlier this year. You got a lot of people that those girls can go in and take advice from and take meaning from. What's that like to be in an athletics room that's so tight knit and such deep with the tradition and the success?
What's unique about Canfield, and I think one of the greatest things is, our girls soccer has been tremendous for years. Our girls softball won a district title. Our girls swimming's good. My wife, when we got married, she said, "What is Canfield not good in?" And I said, "I don't know." And that's something I'm very proud of. And for instance, I'm good friends with our wrestling coaches for years, and a lot of places the wrestling coaches and basketball coaches hate each other, and we just want to see each other win. And I think when you have that kind of environment where your head softball coach Mike Kernan's at our game, and assistants are there, and your head football coach is going to events, and you're trying to support each other, I think it makes it a special place to be. And it's not like that everywhere. And I think winning breeds winning. And when you share your athletes, I think it's great when they have different competitive experiences and be with different coaches. And I'm just proud to be a Canfield Cardinal.
Coach, that's a great way to kind of bid this one adieu. We thank you so much for your time. We wish you the best of luck on Saturday. Hopefully for you, you can get that championship off your back a little bit. And the next time we talk, you can proudly say that you've not lost every championship, and we can have that conversation. We wish you the best of luck, Coach, on Saturday. We'll be rooting for the best, and we can't wait to talk to you again real soon.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Matt Reel joining us from Canfield. And that was a great conversation with both those head coaches. I want to take time to thank both of them for their time. Matt Reel and Aaron Blatch both took time last night after practice to sit down and talk with me about their district semifinal win and their district championship game on Saturday. They're both trying to cut down some nets. It'll be an all YSN matchup for Canfield as they will go up against Salem. We'll have a coach's corner with Coach Hamilton Phillips on the website. Going to do it right after the show. Couldn't get her live, unfortunately. But I'm going to talk with her right after the show. So that'll be on the website before the game. And I think you'll have, Gilbert, Matizzi, almost all the coaches that are going to be playing in a championship have been interviewed this week. So we've done our best to do that, and we'll go over the championships that are going on real quick before we sign out of here. We might go a little bit over, but that's okay. On Running Point, we're okay with going a little bit into overtime on a Friday. We do want to shout out the Hoban girls in the district championship tonight in Division 1. They will play in Perry, and it will be Hoban against Green. The first time these two teams met, it went into overtime, and Hoban was able to win. Green is a great basketball team. We got to see them at South Range as part of that South Range Holiday Hoops Classic. They also played Louisville in Louisville. I was there for that broadcast, so pretty familiar with Green and Riley Chmielewski and Otto, and they have really good basketball players, Stokes. So it's gonna be a tough slate for Hoban, but the Knights are going for their fourth consecutive district championship. Both these teams are reigning district champions for Division 1. Green won a district last year. Hoban won another district. So something's got to give. Something's got to give tonight. District champion versus district champion. Hoban versus Green. Ty Bartel will be there. 7 o'clock is your start time. Same $99.99 that bought you the boys' games will get you access to this one as well. Tomorrow, here are the championships that are going on. We have the Division 2 District Championship at Streetsboro. That is Salem versus Canfield. That game starts at 6 o'clock start time in Streetsboro. Noah Ricks on the call. Then the rest of these are 7 o'clock start times. District Championship at Struthers. Division 3, Liberty versus Garfield. Alec Caberna will be there. In the Division 3 District Championship at Lakeview, it's going to be at Crestview against Laurel. Larry Scragg will be in Cortland for that one. Then we go down to Division 4 District Championship in Middle Ridge. Badger versus Western Reserve. Matt Morrison will be on the call there. And then the last district championship of the day is in Grand Valley, and it will be Springfield against Cornerstone Christian. Noah Doty will be on the call there. We do have some other games that are happening. Boys basketball playoffs, 7 o'clock tip-off. Washington goes to Hoban. Ty Bartell and Dom O'Brien will both be on the call there. 7 o'clock tip, and it's going to be Louisville hosting the winner of Solon versus University School. Bob Burke will be on the call. Cambridge will be at East Liverpool. Nate Kelly and Rob Kelly will be on the call. And then also, not on the network, but is happening, Beaver Local travels to St. Clairsville. So $9.99 gets you access to those 3 boys games and the 5 district championship games tomorrow. Reminder that you'll have to pay a separate payment for tonight and tomorrow. So $9.99 tonight, $9.99 tomorrow. Still, the one payment of that gives you access to all the games that day. So enjoy a night and a weekend full of very, very good basketball, extremely important basketball, a lot on the line, and we'll be back on Monday to talk about all the results on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town.